Suckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world famous Roxanne Shante's in the building, y'all. Do you understand?
Woo!
Now, I know we have a lot of youngin' in the building, but this is my era. This is one of the artists that, you know, I when I first heard this record, I'm like, holy shit. Like, what? Because back then I probably was in junior high school or something like that, and UTFO made this incredible record, Roxanne, and she came back with the Tell All, and you know, she kicks some ass because you know, it was kind of one of the first times we got to hear a female's perspective. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Roxanne Shante.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I like that.
Now, you're not here because it's just Women's History Month. You here because you got big things to go on.
Yes. Please believe it, Star.
Yes, big things to go on.
Yes,
so,
yes.
I mean, I know the ladies got a bunch of questions for you, but I just want to know, first and foremost, how you doing?
I'm absolutely great.
You
great.
look amazing.
Thank you.
You look like $1 million.
Yes, she did.
Well, maybe 3.3.
No. All right. I like that.
Who's counting? Ain't nobody counting.
And I'm saying this out of all fairness, you know, and please hear me out. This is my good friend Haitian Pat over there. We went to high school. You know, we're of an upper age, and some of our friends don't look good. You know what I'm saying? So you look amazing.
Well,
so
thank you.
I just wanted to say that. You know what I'm saying?
I can't with you.
I can't. I'm sorry.
You know, it's the 80s, and it's the water. Right. It was something in the water in the 80s, you know, because remember, we had to drink a lot of water in the 80s, you know. Right. You know, whether you drunk it out the bathroom, your mom.
Right. No matter what.
There wasn't a lot of soda and juice money around.
No.
So, you know, so we really don't have that.
We ain't had that.
Yeah, none of that.
We ain't had that, man.
Yeah,
so
no
congratulations on everything you're working on. And
thank you.
I'm hearing you got a new project.
Yes, absolutely. Coming out the 23rd, March 23rd on Netflix. I have a biopic, and it's yeah, it's really incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
How'd the process even start?
Actually, it started off with Nina Bon Jovi and Mimi Valdez. They had approached me. Yeah, Mimi. Yeah, making moves, Mimi, and no nonsense, Nina. They was getting that money. They was like, listen, this is what we're gonna do. I was at an event. I was hosting an event because I'm known. I still work every weekend. I host different events. Right. And I was hosting the Black Film Festival, and they were like, look, we need to talk. And they were, you know, like they were up on a different level from me, and they were making signals. So I'm thinking they're just partying and enjoying my hosting, and they was like, we coming down to meet you. And I was like, yeah, come on down.
Nice.
You know, and then when they approached me, they were like, look, we've been looking for you. We want to do a movie. And I was like, damn, the drinks in here must be strong. You know, that must be some strong drinks right there.
Does it feel weird for someone to say that to you?
It does. You know, I guess you would look at it like this. I had not made records in over 30 years. And I am not the hip-hop artist that people tend to want to give their accolades to. I'm not that hip hop artist, though I have done though I am the first to have done quite a few things. You know, I have done a lot of history in hip hop and created a lot of things. I'm not the person that gets invited to the awards. I'm not the one that when they do sister events they include her. You know, I'm not the one that when they say, oh, we want to talk about our favorite female rapper, you know, they don't talk about Roxanne Shante, or they don't say, you know, Roxanne Shante influenced me, or she was the first time I heard a female, you know, on the radio. It was Roxanne Shante. So, you know, I've lived with that. And
you were too scary.
But you are the one to get a movie out of it.
Your skills were too scary. They didn't want to fuck with you because your skills were too scary.
You know what it was? I mean, and I'm very humble.
I'm telling you, that's the truth.
Oh, okay.
I'm a DJ.
Oh, well, thank you.
Because
I wasn't sure what it was, honestly.
Right.
I'm just very humble.
We want to keep it 100. This is Women's Month, and we doing all that.
Yes.
All right.
Do it.
There's a horrible tendency with men.
Right.
And we'll look at beauty first. Right. Always. Eye candy, blah, 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 blah. Oh, she's cute, whatever. But your lyrical assassination is not easy for other females to deal with.
Right.
And that's where the disconnect probably comes in from, because you're fire. So you know what I mean?
Sweetie.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna just keep it like that.
Thank
but
you.
y'all answer some questions, because I gotta get behind the turntables now and get ready. So
Absolutely.
Melissa, Navani.
Hi.
Let's do it. Hey.
There's been such a great outpouring of support for your movie. Just so many people are excited. Like, how do you feel about seeing all that, people reposting it all over the place? Like, how does that feel?
It's an honor, and I feel totally blessed to even have them, want to say, okay, well, you know what, this is a story that I want to see. This is something that I need to know. This is something that I want to hear. And I think that it's just the right time for the Roxanne Shante story, because many know about Roxanne Shante, but they don't know why she was the way she was.
Right.
They don't understand why I would come into a venue and be very no nonsense, like, okay, just give me the mic, let me do my job, because they didn't know what I had to deal with off stage. They didn't know what I was rushing home to. I was already a mom in my teens, so you figure I had just made a record, and within 6 months I was already a mother. So there were no after parties for Roxanne Shante, but instead it made it seem like she doesn't want to socialize or she doesn't want to hang out. Like, I already have responsibilities. Like, I'm straight out the group home.
Right.
This right here is a way of life for me right now. This wasn't a hobby or something I just wanted to jump into and do it. It happened to be something that I was very good at, because I was already a well-known battle rapper that had created an income for my household. So for me, this was my job. This wasn't something that, oh yeah, she's gonna pick up the mic, we're gonna have a lot of fun, we're gonna do it for this. Like, no, I wanted money from the door. Like, this was, even in the park, I was like, okay, listen, am I gonna get paid for this? Or what are we gonna do here? What do you do with this? And not really understanding the industry. Because, see, that was a whole different twist for me, because I was already Shante before I became Roxanne Shante. So being a great battle rapper throughout the city, at that time, it's the 80s. So there's money hand over fist. There's more money than you can imagine. So the form of entertainment of hip hop, you had DJs that were making tens of thousands of dollars per night back then in the 80s. We're talking like a mixtape was $50.
Wow.
A mixed cassette tape was $50.
Yep.
We're not talking about how things are now with the CDs and everything. We're talking about this right here was a multi-million-dollar industry in the streets before it became something that you got into the industry.
Yep.
So that's why once I got into the industry and I signed a contract and I didn't get paid, I was like, oh, fuck,
that was
this.
weird
what
for
is
you.
this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, this is not the way it's supposed to go. I thought it's supposed to get better once you come out of the street and go into the industry. But it just wasn't necessarily that way.
Gotcha.
Well, hold it there. We're going to get into that vibe. We're going to hit the 80s real quick, and we're going to come back and talk more with Roxanne Shante. Shade 45, Big Spanish, DJ Enuff. Those are just some world classic pieces from the world famous Roxanne Shante.
Absolutely. Talking about some good memories.
Feels good, huh?
Yes.
She was telling me off air a fun fact that the first one that she did was 7 minutes long, and you never wrote it down. You just off the top of your head.
Exactly.
Straight shooting in your living room.
Exactly. Well, you know what? They were freestyles, and they were actually done in Marley Marl's living room. I was in the middle of getting ready to go and do my laundry, and he called me upstairs, and he was like, "Listen, Shani, I heard that you are a great," because they call me Shani. He's like, "Yeah, I heard you're a great battle rapper, and I got this beat, and the song is about this girl named Roxanne. So, let me hear what you can do." And I was like, "Well, look, I gotta do laundry. I'm right now. I'm literally on probation. I'm out of the group home. My mom is like, on me, and so this is what I have to do." And he was like, "All right, it's only gonna take a few minutes." I was like, "All right, exactly 10 minutes is what I have."
Wow.
So when I went upstairs into his living room, I remember not knowing what I was supposed to do with headphones, because I was a street MC,
right?
So I didn't know what headphones were, So, and he's like, I'm like, "Well, when am I gonna hear the music? Like, where's the music gonna come from?" And he was like, "You have to put on the headphones." Put on the headphones.
So it's obvious the game has changed a lot since you've been in it, right?
Absolutely.
And especially for women, right?
Yes.
So that's why I want to transition. You were probably one of the only female in your crew, right, at the time.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to introduce Jazz Poe. Right, because she's one of the only females in our heavy hitter crew.
I forgot about that.
See?
How are you gonna forget about that?
Make sure you guys talking to the microphone so we can hear you clearly.
Yes. So I really wanted to bring you guys together because I felt like we could take a lot from this conversation. How do you see the game has changed since you being in it back then till now?
It's sad to say that it has changed as far as technology, but as far as women in the industry, it hasn't really changed much, which is sad to say. because there are still so many women that should be in better positions than they are.
Absolutely.
There are so many women that are not given the credit for the things they do. There are so many women that are still considered in the background that are really making some of these great man machines run.
That's why I wanted to bring Jazz Poe here.
And you know, and you don't get a chance to really see that.
Right.
But one of the positive changes that I have seen is the fact that now a lot of women are becoming their own bosses.
Yes.
Are starting to say, like, listen, you know what, I can venture out on my own. I can make this happen.
Yep.
That fear of not having their fellow man next to them is starting to diminish. So I'm so proud of my sisters and seeing them like, yeah, you know, like make it happen. You know, and it's a beautiful thing to see that, you know, and to see that you have so many brothers and so many men who respect that and see that in the sisters,
right?
Yeah,
and
but
give them that confidence.
You have to have that respect instilled in yourself from day one, because if not, it's easy to get caught up being that you're the only woman. I mean, as for myself, I was the only girl around 6-7 guys every night,
right?
Consecutively. So it's easy to fall and get sidetracked. So you have to have that self-respect and self-control within yourself if you want to survive anything, let alone this game.
Absolutely.
Because it's male dominated. So that's important. Like, if you don't have that cut out, you're not gonna make it.
And speaking for the people that don't know, Jazz Poe, introduce yourself. Who are you? What you do? And how did you get all of this?
It's the hardest question that I have to answer. People ask me all the time. I never know how to explain that to people because I've worn so many hats, good hats, and it's like I have friends that know me are artists, and they're like, I thought you did this, and I'm like, no, I don't do that. And they're like, well, to me you did that. I just knew you was that one girl that's cool, that's always in the right place, and I just get it done, you know. So it's like
you wear many hats. That's me and Roxanne was just talking about, wearing many hats.
I started, of course, I got my first little taste in the music industry.
She's the most interesting woman in the industry.
And it's hard for me to explain because it's like I'm almost like a jack of all trades, master of none, but it's my gift and my curse at the same time, because I never wanted anyone to box me in. Like, I always wanted to do other things, and like, he does that, I could do that, or she does that, I could do that, or, you know. So it's my curiosity, and that's just me as an individual. I always wanted to keep pushing and keep going. I never settled. Like, I did that, all right, I did that, all right, let's go. What's next? Like, let me move to the next level. Let me go. Now I want to go, you know, to a label. Okay, you did that. Okay, now you make record. I want to see how you make that record. You know, like, I'm always the type of person that I'll take a job in McDonald's because I want to know how they make burgers. And once I learned that, all right, I'm gone. Let's go. What's next?
I love it.
So that's just always been my mentality. So it's kind of a gift and a curse, but it's a good thing. But I got my first taste with Rough Riders. I did the Hard Knock Life tour when they was on the road with Jay and them. I did all the after parties. So I was like at the cashier in the door getting all the money, and
getting that bread.
We used to hang up posters, you know, a lot of promo material. They don't do that no more, but we did that. So I got like kind of my taste, but I was still young. And then I fell all the way back, and then I started working through a mutual friend. I got a job at RPM. RPM was a marketing promotion company that did
Shouts branding, to Niles.
Did branding, and they were the ones that created Mix Show Power Summit, which is a big music conference.
Right.
And then I did that for a while. I did the first one in Puerto Rico, and I was like, wow, all these people here. And then I was like, I can't work here. Like, I'm done. Like, I can't. I was a receptionist. I was like, I can't do this. This is not for me. And then Enuff was one of the clients that company managed at the time, amongst so many other clients. And Enuff's, at the time, he needed an assistant. So then they asked me, and I was like,
he recognized that
I was like,
power.
All right, let's do it.
I recognized
you recognized
You saw the hustle in her.
That's right.
You know, my career and everything I am, you know, I owe it to E. I'm not gonna even, and I tell everyone, like, I learned, I got my, what's the word to say? Like, I built my bones being with Enuff for 5 years, you know?
Nice.
Like, it built my foundation, but I started with E, and it went from there, and you know, I met everybody, and I learned what the game was prior to social media, which is so important because it was two different eras. So I'm glad I came from that era because I understand the game a little different than someone just coming in the game now. They see it, you know, we had to work, like, it was guerrilla marketing, like, it was
You were
so
carrying
different.
crates.
I carry a lot of crates. Yes. Yeah, Enuff carries 6 crates every night, 6-7 days a week. And they did not care if I was the cute girl. Jazz had to carry crates and her luggage. So
speaking of that, right? I feel like both of you also very similar in the sense that you didn't use your sexuality to get in the game.
No.
You guys were very, can I say tomboy-ish?
I'm totally a tomboy.
Okay.
For me, I could say.
Yeah, it's so funny because I had already had a baby, so they kind of knew that, that Shante
you were off limits.
That Shante was a girl sometime. At some point. Right. At some point during the day, Shante was a girl.
I think that's me too.
And that's why I feel like you guys are very similar in that sense.
That's what it was. I think they were like, oh, wait a minute.
Do you think that not having to, not being objectified as like sexually like that really helped you guys propel yourself?
Because they respect you different because there's girls all the time, and I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell my guys secrets, but it's out there, so it's very easy. So you have to separate yourself from jump. If not, they will run right through you.
Right.
So you
absolutely. It's definitely a blessing to be judged on your talent.
1000%.
When you come in, and then on top of that, it doesn't hurt to be the cute girl, to have a nice length of hair. Occasionally you put on a pair of jeans and they be like, I didn't even know that you had.
Yeah.
But in all reality, what you have done is you have presented your talent. So therefore, there's a whole different level of respect. Now they see you as their sister, and they totally believe that it's taboo to see you as anything else.
Yeah, like they don't.
Like they will meet girls and bring the girls to you and ask you, like,
what do you think?
Or they block you and then you can't get no. I got blocked a lot.
All right.
That's a good way to end this. Right?
All right, hold it right there. We're gonna play some more music. Come back with Roxanne Shante, Jazz Poe, and the whole entire team, baby. That's a good one right there. Shade 45, y'all. Come on. Yo, you know what's crazy?
What's that?
Shout to Melissa Sweets because I forgot about the Cypher Part 3 with Frankie Cutlass.
Yo, I heard it yesterday again, and I was like,
oh, that's
we
my
gotta
shit.
play this.
Yeah, that was classic right there. That was classic right. Shout to Frankie Cutlass on that one. The degrees of separation are so small.
Yes.
It's crazy because like Frankie Cutlass was down with my crew, the Flip Squad DJs, before we started the Heavy Hitters. Me and Marley still work together on BLS to this day.
Yes.
Marley, was, Shawnee's producer.
Right.
You see, I said Shawnee, right?
There you
So
go.
it just feels good, to have you guys in the building, real talk. And Jazz Poe is my heart because I don't know, when I was just trying to build Heavy Hitters and Kanye West. Tell them the stories. Then Kanye West used to come to the office all day and begging, begging.
After the jaw, he broke his jaw. He came with his mixtape. He gave it to us, and we sitting there packing CDs, like his mixtape days, and he's there like, please, like, you don't understand, like, just as passionate as he is now.
Yeah.
He was that passionate, and Enuff was like, all right, you down with us. You in my crew. That's it. And we really helped.
But it's a lot of history here and a lot of stories, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it's incredible that you guys are here. So, Torch, won't you play an instrumental? I'm going to get off these turntables because DJ Saige, you know what I'm saying? Another young lady is about to take over because it's Saige season.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Hey.
You ready, Torch? Y'all can keep talking. Y'all keep talking. Go
I
ahead.
have a question.
Okay.
Can I ask each of you for your favorite hip hop moment?
Oh, okay.
Ooh. For me, it's too many, but you go first. You're an artist.
Well, okay. For me, I guess my favorite hip hop moment would be when I found out that hip hop was taken so seriously, that it was finally being taken seriously, that there was actually a Grammy category. Ooh. Which for me, even before then, hip hop is not just a genre of music for me. It is my culture. And on some days, it is my religion. It depends on what I'm going through. Some days I need certain forms of hip hop in order to get me out of whatever it is I'm going through. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So, but the day I found that out, I was just like flabbergasted. I was just like elated.
We made it.
Yeah.
You was a part of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, you know what? Finally, they can't erase it. Because remember, I came into hip hop at a time where hip hop was the only music that actually had an expiration date. That's what they were telling you. That's why so many artists, especially artists, old school artists, did not take their publishing ownership seriously.
Wow.
Did not take their writing seriously, because what they
makes a lot of sense.
Because what they would tell you is that, listen, this is not going to be around in 10 years.
Wow.
So try to get whatever you can now,
Wow.
because this is going to disappear.
Wow.
know, it was the only genre of music that had an expiration date where your artist can actually age out of being able to be entertaining to you. Where people were ashamed to be adults and still say they listen to you. So people would play their hip hop all the way till they get to the front of their job, then switch to jazz, and then get out their car.
I'm like that now when I go to work corporate.
Because they were ashamed to say that they were hip hop artists, and now that has changed. But when I was in, at that time when I was in it, it was the fact that everything had an expiration date. They was like, listen, well, you can't do this past the age of 30.
Right.
You can't do this. Once you started hitting your 20s, they were like, listen, you know what? It's best to get in this and get out. Get what you can and get out. So that's how come they were able to swindle so many old school artists out of their publishing, because they were like, listen, we'll give you $10,000 for this, because I'm going to tell you, it ain't going to be worth nothing soon, because this music here, this ain't going nowhere.
That's
and then
crazy.
you come to find out, you sell them your publishing, and then here it is, you're sitting in your house, and then you see a Snapple commercial with your song in the background, and some cherries pop locking to this thing, and you can't even collect no money off of it, so you're like, oh my God, what happened? So yeah, this was the only form of music that had that. We're still the only genre of music that call our artists old school.
Yeah.
You don't hear old school
I don't like
rockers.
that.
You don't hear
Because
all
I'm
that.
an OG now, and okay, I like the OG term if you're taking care of your OG.
Right.
But not too long ago, there was a young person came in and said, "Hey, Red Alert, when you gonna retire?" And I was like,
How dare you?
I was like, what the I was so mad that he said that. But Red is slick. Red said, Aretha Franklin's still doing it. He said Mary J. Blige still doing it, and he named a whole bunch of incredible, talented people. Because why in hip hop do we expect someone to retire?
Exactly.
From where?
Exactly.
Not us. We raising our kids on this, and now this is the crazy part. Shani got big paper coming her way right now because a movie is getting done and it's being taken right to Netflix. That's the new paper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing
absolutely.
that in 2018, a person of your caliber is getting mills just to do that Netflix deal, and we salute you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
All right.
you. Thank you.
Keep the thoughts.
And to still be alive.
Keep the thoughts. Yes.
Because
And look good.
Thank you. 'Cause
Yeah,
usually that
we've
happens
got
when you're
our
gone.
unsigned pick. I know they're waiting.
We gotta do the unsigned pick. We do a segment up here. Navani digs. I don't know how she digs. I might have to find out more on how she digs. But she finds some unsigned talent and we play it. You know what I'm saying? So Navani, this is you. What we doing?
Yes. Unsigned pick of the week. This week we have someone out of Colorado representing Denver.
Colorado. All
yeah,
right.
I figured let's switch it up a little bit.
That's left.
All
His
right.
name is Swank Sinatra, and the song is called Static.
Static.
So, yeah.
All right, shout
this
to
is what we
Swank
have.
Sinatra. You know what I mean? Call us up if you like the record. If not, then all right. I'm trying to be positive. You know what I mean? All right, Saige, play that for us, and we'll be right back right after this.
They saying my name, but they don't want no static. Yeah. The K in the 40 is right in the attic.
Yes, Shade 45 on a Monday night. This is the world famous heavy hitters. That's DJ Saige.
Yes.
It's officially Saige season,
You're
according to your
my bad. I couldn't hear you for a second.
according to your T-shirt.
Yep, it's Saige season. Get your merch. Link in bio. Just saying.
She's
working.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's
I
nice
like
to see.
that.
You know, it's crazy. Like you young DJs, y'all got it popping. Y'all moving, man. Y'all got pages on SoundCloud.
It's
you got-
easier for them.
You got merch out in the street, like.
We hustling. It's
It
easier for
took us.
y'all.
It took years for us to get to that point,
Oh,
man.
man.
So congratulations, man. Y'all doing it up.
Thank you.
What's happening with Saige, real quick?
I mean, I just dropped my merch, Saige season. I just got a residency at Revel, so I'm there each and every Saturday.
I heard it's a movie.
It is a movie. I'm just letting y'all know right now. It's crazy. And then I got a podcast called DJ and Chill with two other DJs, Earns and Rich Kids.
That's
So,
what's up.
Nice.
Yeah.
See,
I like
look,
the name of
see?
it.
You see how they
DJ
moving
Chill.
out here?
Ow.
No problem.
I love it.
Yep.
So
yep.
what do you feel about Jazz Poe and Roxanne Shante up here on Shade 45 and you guys talking and taking over for Women's History Month?
I mean, I related so much to you guys. Like, everything you said, I felt, because I feel like, especially with jazz, like, I'm in the cross between the old generation, I guess you could say, and the new generation. Like, I'm trying to cross over, too, to, like, the, different kind of social media era. Like, even though I promote my stuff and everything like that, I feel like you have to keep up and you have to, like, constantly, like, you're not relevant if you're not on social media. That's what it feels like.
Can I say one thing about you that I don't see in a lot of new DJs? you have a lot of respect for the old school, and I wanted to say thank you for that because you've opened up for you opened up for me a bunch of times in various clubs and boat rides and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, she's in the 90s, she's killing it.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, she definitely
love 90s, like my heart. That's where it started.
The good music.
Exactly. And she recreated right now too. You know, everybody's sampling old stuff, so
running out of ideas.
Right.
That's true.
And speaking of recreation,
and she's super confident too. I like that about her. I met her last week. I was at an event. She came up to me and she's like, "You're Jazz Poe, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And you know, the way she introduced, and I was like, you know, I meet people all the time. People normally know me before I know them, but her approach was like, I could give this girl like my info, you know? You have to be careful of that too. So, but she was so like confident, right? So I know she's gonna be, you know, she's going in a good direction.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
All right, so Roxanne.
Yes.
Shani.
Yes.
I like Shani.
Yeah, me
feels
too.
Good.
Yeah, some people call me Shiny. Some people
Did you
call me
record
Raps.
any new music for your doc?
You know, actually, we didn't have to. One of the songs I actually did re-record because there was a little bit of an issue as far as the publishing aspect of it. So it was like, okay, under those circumstances, my songs are all over 30 years old. It's like I still sound similar, you know, if not the same, depending on what the energy is. Like I can go in and still sound like 14-year-old Roxanne Shante if the check is right. Like, you know, like I can go in there. And
Do you remember your first rhyme? Even if it's like a little bit. You want to give us a little bit of it?
You know what? Do I remember my first rhyme?
Or your first piece of like art or work or freestyle?
You know what? You know, I'm going to tell you why I don't. Let me tell you why I don't remember it. I have what is called Nipsey Russell syndrome.
What does that mean?
Nipsey Russell syndrome, and that's an artist, and everybody needs to Google this because it's something that you need to know. Even if you just listen to hip hop, you need to know who Nipsey Russell is. Nipsey Russell was a comedian / artist that would rhyme throughout his entire show. Everything was a rhyme. So because of that, I had what was called Nipsey Russell syndrome. Like today, I like to say happy birthday to my daughter. I'm sitting right here next to Poe, and here's a thing of water, and here's my phone sitting here right here on the paper. Natural. And then when I look at you, I'm wondering what's the caper. My pocketbook is gray. He's sitting there alone. Didn't crack a smile. Had on his headphones. She is over there, and it is Saige season, and that right there is the motherfucking reason.
I love it. That gets me hyped. Makes me want to go to the studio right now. Right now, let's go to the studio.
Yo,
you know,
not
just females, but a lot of you rappers can't do that. Period.
I'm in the studio at least 3-4 times a week, and I be there like,
they can't do that.
It's gonna be a long night.
You know, so that's the reason why I can't remember my very first one.
Got you.
Because of that.
So natural.
We talked about how sometimes women still need to work on, you know, supporting each other and that kind of stuff. But are there any female rappers in the game, either, you know, in the present or past, that you are cool with and y'all do your thing? You
know what? Absolutely. I love them all, so I don't get a chance to pick a favorite.
Okay.
If you were to ask me, like, who's the last female rapper that, you know, we would know or we would talk to, like, I talk to Remy all the time. You know, we have that type of rapport.
Love that.
You know, and one of the things about it is the fact that I have my hip hop moments with each one of my sisters. It may be a day where I'm feeling Cardi B, you know, so then I'm gonna play Cardi, and that's gonna be that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna party with Cardi and Rari. You know, I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have that day, but then I'm gonna also have my Nicki moments.
Right.
You know, where I'm going to play, you know, Nicki, and then I'm gonna have, you know, but basically I have a lot more Remy moments than I
got you.
You know, I do anyway. But they're all my sisters and I love them. And so therefore I don't have a favorite. And just like how I can't choose a favorite with my real blood sisters, I can't choose a favorite in hip hop. Nor can I choose a favorite rapper, because I love them all. I'm that happy aunt. I'm that quote unquote exception to the old school rule. I'm not angry. I'm okay.
Right.
You know, so a lot of times new artists will see an old school artist and feel like, oh yeah, he's always old, he always grumpy, he always feeling like somebody owe him something. Like, no, you don't owe me anything, because I'm still getting it. So I'm like, I'm all right. You know,
Nice.
so the main factor is I greet them and I embrace them and I love them and I hug them, and I love the transition that hip hop has also taken, because people say, well, what about what they talk about today? Like, hip hop has always been a reflection of the youth, and what we hear now is exactly what they're going through today.
Absolutely.
So if they're on records and they're discussing what they're going through today, who am I to judge what your daily reality is? Because see, all I had to worry about was rats in the front room and roaches in the back. You know, you got to pop pills to deal with your reality. Unfortunately, though I hope and pray that the day comes that everyone becomes a vegan, because you know now the healthy kick comes in.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'm working on it now.
I'm
working on it.
You know, but that's usually what
working on it,
happens,
Mike.
and that's a blessing, because the more money they start to make, the more they realize that they want to be here to spend it.
Right.
And in order to do that, they want to get healthy. So now the same one who was popping pills is now up in the morning doing yoga.
Right.
You know, and
making shakes.
And making shakes. Exactly.
Protein shakes, yeah.
Exactly. So
vegan protein shakes.
right. And so then they'll go through that phase where they'll build up and they'll get real big. You know, like very, very muscular. And then they'll realize, like, okay, you know what, I can't fit shit. So I'm going to come back down. You know, my suit doesn't look right. And then they're going to come back down to that healthy, nice side. So yeah, I love it. Like, I love it. So I embrace all hip hop. I listen to all of it. I'm not going to say that I don't have my trap music moments in the car, because I do. I would be lying if I didn't say that.
Love that.
You know, that helps me get through traffic sometimes. Sometimes you need that shit.
Love
Need
that.
to turn up.
Jazz Poe,
Yeah.
What's up?
you went from RPM, Heavy Hitters, Def Jam Records, Rough Riders,
Rock the Mic Studio.
Rock the Mic Studios. Now you're over at Roc Nation.
Rock now. Well, officially.
Rock La is it? What is
It's
it?
Roc Nation. Well, a lot of people don't know I was doing part of. Got DJ Camilo and DJ Lobo signed to Roc Nation. So because I was the GM of Rock La Familia years ago,
I remember
I
that.
have a great relationship with them. So it was always like my second home. I was always in and out of the building, even though I wasn't officially there. And you know, it's family. So when Duce came out, we pushed Duce. When the Roc Nation apparel, which turned now into Planes, came out, we pushed that. It's like if Enuff, you
Support
come out with
everybody.
something like let's rock,
Right.
like let's work. I just love the work. So I'm always Roc Nation, because that's, you know, family. But now I'm officially at Tidal. So at Tidal I do marketing and artist relations.
Damn.
But
Your resume's crazy.
but yeah, it's too crazy. But so
You remind me of a Mimi Valdez. Real talk.
maybe about that.
Even with the gray hair.
Yeah, no, and then
Both of y'all.
Let my hair gray.
Shout out to Mimi. She made me have a heartfelt moment, because back in 1995 or 96, Mimi got to do her first cover story with Biggie on Vibe magazine.
Yes.
And she posted that on March 9th the other day. And we spent the whole week on tour together with Mimi and Biggie and Lil' Kim and C's and the whole entire Junior Mafia. So I just wanted to shout out real quick. Let's keep these thoughts going. Saige, I want you to play some more music, because then after that we got Stephcakes coming up. This is Shade 45, y'all.
I'm watching.
All right, so we were talking off the mic. So now I wasn't clear, but now I'm clear. This is a biopic, but this is a movie.
Yes.
Like how Big the Notorious.
Exactly.
A movie. People
Yes.
are playing actors and
Parts.
actresses.
Right.
And, oh, got it.
Nia Long is
I
playing
thought it was just
Wow.
like
A series or
Like he
something?
goes footage of 1989 when she performed live at such and such. And
No.
No. This is a movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
A real movie.
Absolutely,
Love
absolutely.
that.
And we have such great actors in it. We were actually talking for a second off mic, and we were saying the fact that on the Academy Awards, the night of the Academy Awards,
Yes.
they shouted it out
on the red carpet.
And you know, people were like, they just shouted your movie out.
That's big.
That's huge.
Big.
That's it.
Big.
That's it. Check the account. That's it. That's it. It's done. That's it.
Big.
You know, and Mahershala Ali, you know, shout out to Mahershala Ali, shout out to Nia Long, shout out to Shante Adams, who happened to just graduate, came straight out of school, went straight into the part, and then won Breakout Artist of the Year.
Love that.
Breakout Actress of the Year
Love
at
that.
Sundance. You know,
Love that.
the film went to Sundance first, and when it went to Sundance, this is how the process goes, because it was something new, so it was explained to me how it goes, and they get thousands and thousands of entries. They only select 113, and out of that 113, only 9 are sold, and mine was one of the 9. You know, so
amazing.
Big money.
Yeah, so people look at that and you just say to yourself like, wow. You know, so when people use the term about the fact that everybody feels like their life is a movie, for me to sit back and sit in front of the screen and say, oh my God, like mine really is
a movie.
Like, you know, it just
crazy.
doesn't get any better. And you know what that comes from? And I just want to tell this to people, and I want to say this, and I know it's totally off the subject of hip hop, but it's karma, and it's how you treat people. You know, I make it my business to be just as kind to the so-called star as I am to the person who holds the door for me.
Absolutely.
I treat them absolutely the same. You know, the same way you treat people when your records are hot is the same way people are going to treat you when they're not. So you got to be very careful about that.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's karma. So you know, you give out good and good comes back. No matter how many times people don't want the good to come back to you, it will come. They can't block it. They can't stop it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they can't block it or stop it.
All right, good.
Oh yeah, Camilo, thank you for that corner table that blends that rice. Baby.
Yeah, DJ Camilo got a nice table waiting for her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we gonna blend some things.
We're gonna blend some things. Shout out to everybody in Long Island City working over there. Where can people find you, Roxanne, if they're interested in you, your story? Is there a website? Is there social media?
Well, right now, what I would ask everybody to do, because we really want to make a statement with Netflix to let them know that, you know, that our movies are definitely those that they need to look into and show some interest in. So I asked everyone who does have Netflix to make it their business to put the Roxanne movie on their wish list, which means you can go to Netflix right now.
Just hit the boom.
Yep, you can go to Netflix right now. You can hit the heart, and then this way, when it comes up on the 23rd, it'll already be there.
Love that.
You know, we have some premieres going around. We have one that's going to take place in Jamaica, Queens.
Nice.
On the 22nd, we have one in Newark, New Jersey on the 21st. If you want to
that's you, Walla.
yeah, so if you want if you want to get that pre-screening, come in, you know, Q&A, we're going to talk and discuss it and everything else, you know, and you know, shout out to the Samsung Theater. We're going to be there, the SBA Theater.
Absolutely.
You know? So it's great. I can't
Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Nina.
You're more than welcome anytime
Thank
to
you,
come.
Forest Whitaker. Thank you, you know, because Pharrell and Forest Whitaker, they were producers. I serve as executive producer of the movie. You know, thank you, Michael Arnell. Thank you, everyone.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
I'm getting ready for that speech. You know, so when you get that award, I gotta get that speech ready. I gotta make sure.
All right. So what's the date it's dropping again?
It's dropping March 23rd on Netflix.
March 23rd, Netflix, and it's called
Roxanne.
Roxanne, man. Give it up, y'all. Shade 45, thank you so much. Don't go nowhere, because right now, DJ Stephcakes is going to do her thing. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Go. And then we'll come back and talk to you.